I don't care who you are or who you love. Just show up real, that's more than enough. Say what you mean, be wild, be free. The world needs your truth unapologetically. Woo! No shame, no fear, no judgment zone. If you feel alone, you're never alone. We rise with the rhythm, we move with the light, and we hug at the end if you need it tonight. You be you, loud, proud, bold, and true. Light it up, let them see the real you. Dance it out, lift your voice and shine. We're healing, we're growing, we're crossing the line. You be you, oh, don't dim your flame. Live out loud, we're changing the game. This is love, this is soul, this is power and groove. Welcome to the space where you can move. Clap, clap, you be you live. Clap, 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 come on and thrive. No fakes, no fronts, no filters tonight. Just real love, real talk, real life in the mic. Focus in.
Oh, sorry. Hey, everybody, this is William Rochelle, but you can call me Bill. And welcome to UBU Live, and welcome to the show called Next Chapter, where we talk where we talk real talk about work, life, and everything in between. Today, we're digging into something a lot of folks out there are going through right now: layoffs. And we're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it light, and yes, we're going to walk away with hope too. I am welcoming my co-host for the day, Michael LeBlanc, and we will also be joined by Jeremy and Peter. So both of them will be appearing within the hour. Michael, how are you today?
I'm doing wonderful.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Just in case, I did get a notification that LinkedIn is having intermittent connectivity issues. So if for some reason the stream breaks, we will reload a copy of the StreamYard stream in place of the live. So hope everyone out there can enjoy and see us, but let's get into it. Since we spoke last, Mike, which is a week ago, what's been going on in your life, and how are you doing?
Ooh. Well, as you may know, I've been in job search for over 2 years. So, trying to find a position is always sort of front of mind.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the things that you had on the discussion list are also front of mind. Particularly around what should our options be, or what should corporate America's attitude be towards us as workers. And I'm going to say again, I think that I said this last week, that maybe you and I in our work life have been not average in our how we view what loyalty should look like, what integrity and honesty and accountability should look like. And I'm saying both from a leader perspective and from a worker perspective. And I would argue one of the things I would say is that there's not necessarily loyalty to the employee today. So, when people are getting laid off, and then there's a bunch of things we can bring in like AI and other things, but to me, there's a deeper, more basic issue, and that is, what is the relationship between the employee and the employer? And for me, that all starts from the top down. So, is the C-suite and I think you had it in the notes, is the C-suite more interested in profit or in loyalty? And I'm going to argue, I'm sorry, or maybe not, that they may be more interested in profit. And on a quarter-to-quarter basis, they're more interested in stock price. And with the advent of AI, and I think again we're going to see some things in AI that are, I think, the hype cycle may break. I think it already has in some cases, where some companies have tried to adopt it and found that it wasn't, living up to its promise. I don't know if you heard of Klarna, but they had tried to use AI for customer support, and it didn't meet their needs, and so
What is
they
Klarna? I've heard of
it's
it.
it's a company. I can't remember what they do, but this was kind of in the news a while back. And so they were talking about adopting it, and then I just saw something where they had reversed. And I think that's going to happen because, to be clear, I don't want to appear like a Luddite. I think there are going to be use cases for AI. I kind of view it as a very, very intelligent search engine. But also, I think if you can build what I call SLMs or PLM. So SLM is small language model, or PLM is private language model. So if you can basically train your own models and have control over that, I think that's going to be a very useful use case. My concern is the validity of information that's kind of open source, if you will, and out on the internet. So, we know it's hallucinating. We know some of the models are actually built to give you the answer that you want, as opposed to maybe the whatever
correct
the
answer.
truth is. And then we have,
Right.
beyond that, which I don't really want to get into, we have political issues relative to lives but at least to give you maybe two sides, and then allow you to make that determination yourself. But getting back to the layoffs and such, I see that as looking at profit as opposed to the human resource.
So it's interesting because I worked for a $4 billion company years ago, and it was right when email started taking off, and we had 80 regular full-time customer service agents, and then we would hire an additional 250 every single holiday. So that's Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, and then there was like that summer lull where you would kind of do a review of what went well and what didn't go well, and then make changes. We were constantly told to do more with less. And when email came around, they hid the customer service number and tried to direct everyone to email. And people weren't ready for it yet. So they weren't meeting their customers where they were. And so we had to rehire a bunch of people. It did not have the effect that they thought it would have, because people want real-time results and correct results. So I think AI is fantastic. I believe that it can really, really subsidize your customer service cost, customer service as a call center, but it cannot replace a human being. So I would use right now AI as an initial phase in customer service, where it would suggest to the reps, this is what they're asking, this is what I think, is that correct? And then if the agent says yes, then it would calculate in my mind how many times the agent say yes. The agent says yes 99% of the time to this question and this answer in this format. So let's go ahead and use it and bypass the customer service rep. But that would only be after, and you're a technical guy. That's basically machine learning, right? You're teaching the machine that it is right. You're validating it before it actually goes on its own, right?
Yeah,
No?
I mean, for customer service type stuff, I mean, and actually, this was a pet project of mine way back before machine learning. I actually was
Right.
working on a project with AI ML, and so you would actually put questions and answers related
Yeah.
to whatever the project was. So, um, you know, absolutely having, being able to have a knowledge base basically for your call center and a cookbook or a run book as to what is kind of a normal troubleshooting or questions to ask thing for I think it can go a long way. But the other thing that I've seen, Bill, is the routing. So a lot of times they're routing you, whether it's AI or not, they're routing you through your voice. I can't remember the AVRs, and you can't get a human being. So uh, and I can name a couple well-known names like Comcast and others,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that has a direct impact on customer service, in my opinion. Again, I'm very passionate about this because I grew up. That's how I started my professional career, was actually in service.
Yeah.
So and we offered. Now we had to learn how to say no, also, meaning that in some cases the service level that they were paying for um, wasn't the same level that they were getting, meaning we were giving such good service that it
Right.
was actually outstripping what they had paid for. So we had to sort of adjust that a little bit. But that's the background. I really believe in giving your best and bringing
Absolutely.
and that obviously has, in my opinion, that has benefits, because then you have loyalty, customer loyalty, you have customer satisfaction. But if you don't, then, like I said, then you have these issues where I can't even get a human. Or if you're gonna if you're gonna supplement that with AI, then you need to figure out how to do that appropriately. And I
Yeah.
think that's what's kind of going on, is things are moving a little too quickly, in my opinion. And I think people need to step back a little bit and look at what the ramifications are of what they're doing.
It's really interesting that you brought up Comcast because I'm going to give you a little backstory. Okay. Um, there was a period, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where my cable was cut off. And I called Comcast to figure out why it was disconnected. And the automation said, you owe $750. And I'm like, why do I owe $750? So I said, agent. And it said, you cannot be connected to an agent until you pay $586. And I'm like, why do I owe $586? I was so confused. So I kept saying, agent, agent, agent. And until I gave it my credit card, paid $586 that I didn't know why I was paying, then I got to an agent. And what had occurred, which I didn't recognize, is that I was on automatic billing through my debit card, and my debit card had either expired or I had reported it stolen. So they changed my number. And so for 3 months, the card kept getting declined, and I didn't know it. I didn't, I didn't recognize it. I don't remember getting a notice or anything like that. But I was very disheartened that I couldn't speak to someone about this before I paid the $586, that I didn't understand why I was paying it. I had no clue because everything is digital. And I just woke up and like your cable's off. And I literally, after that, got rid of Comcast. I stream everything. And I'm just like, forget it. Because why am I paying you $280 a month? First of all, because that's huge. And I'm giving you that money that I don't have to give to you. I'm giving it to you because I want to give it to you. And I have other choices. But when I call up, to figure out why I owe so much, which is not an unusual question. As I told you, I gave them, my new debit card right away, got paid the 580 because that was like the backlog. And then they, I guess the 7 was because that's what I had to do for that month. And forgive me if my numbers are a little bit off, but it's close enough. But I felt like I was being held hostage, like literally held hostage. And when I say my Comcast was cut off, remember that Comcast, well, no need for you to remember because you don't know. But at that period, Comcast was both my TV provider and my internet provider. So I had neither. So I couldn't really look up anything to figure out what's going on because I had no internet connection and no TV. And trying to figure it out on your phone and looking through it, and I don't have internet, it just made it more frustrating. So I believe that I think two things can be true. So let's go back to your first point, if that's okay with you. The C-suite is supposed to be looking out for the bottom line. Most companies, are in it for a profit. My ideology is I don't want to fire anyone, so I work really lean. I want to attract more business, so I want to be able to do more with less. So that basically what that means is if you're an employee of mine, or if we work for the same company, my goal is to try to figure out how to make your job easier and allow you to keep it and pay you more. So if I have $300,000 a month for payroll for customer service, but I'm at 200,000, I can give bonuses. I can, give gift cards. There's so much I can do because I'm always under budget. But in today's world, I love AI. Sorry, guys, me and Michael will differ. We're not the same person, although everyone thinks that we are. I love AI, but I think it cannot replace the human element, especially in a service-oriented position. What are your thoughts?
Well, I want to hit a couple different things. As a leader, I always wanted to give the appropriate tools, support, training to my employees, right? And my reports. So I don't have anything against that. The problem that I see is when you go beyond that, like there's a perceived advantage with AI today in like 4x, 5x, 10x, and that's not bearing out. So but the problem is that the hiring and the releasing of people is based on that number. I'm like, whoa, time out. Why don't we go through a phase where we roll this out and actually see, instead of relying on when we're riffing people on relying what the promised capabilities are and the what exactly is going to give you as opposed to what it's being promised. And I think there are use cases. So and like I said, for customer service, I think like a run book or some tools, to your point, some tools to alleviate some of the workload or the stress or whatever on the employee is important. And yes, if you could do more with less, but again, we have to make sure that the technology is actually living up to its promise. So if that's the case, then I'm with you on that, right? But I think part of the problem is that that's not actually the case. And again, I don't know if you saw, and this is outsourcing in general, which is a little different, but I think we even mentioned this in a previous conversation as to outsourcing to like a third party versus outsourcing to AI, and I view them similarly, is that um, you have to be really careful because to me, my people and the culture that I'm trying to engender are going to look at things a certain way and a kind of a high level of quality. That doesn't necessarily play out when you do third party, when you hand off to a third party. And like I said, if your AI isn't living up to that, then you don't have the quality maybe that you were trying to instill in your people.
Right.
So that's
Right.
that's some of the challenges I see with that. And
Okay.
like if it's so bad, I had a situation with Comcast. I was literally on the phone for 2 hours. I can't remember the details, but I think it was something similar with like billing or something. And I couldn't get. I'm like, I couldn't get an answer. I couldn't get a reliable answer from the various tiers, right? And maybe maybe if there's better programming, or now with AI, maybe if there's better abilities with AI to get you around where you don't necessarily need a human. I'm all for that, but you have to be very careful about how you institute that, and more importantly, when you're rolling this stuff out, does it live up to what your expectations were?
Right.
Or is your efficiency there? Or like one of the things is if the AI is hallucinating, meaning it's just giving you poor data, whether it's completely wrong or partially wrong, then there's the follow up. So let's say it was supposed to be
What do you mean
10x.
by hallucinating?
Okay. It's basically giving you an answer. It's giving you an answer, but not the correct answer. And
Okay.
sometimes it's completely wrong. Sometimes it's partially wrong. But at some point, I'm like, and I actually had this bill where I asked, I'll just label the vendor ChatGPT. I said, here's the job description. Here's my resume. Create a cover letter that takes these, what the requirements are, and basically say I meet the requirements. Well,
Yeah.
it made stuff up. I'm like, whoa. Time out.
That goes back to our conversation last week. Do you click on the master's degree when you don't have it?
Well, yeah, and I answered no, but again, it's like, well, wait a minute. I gave you what I consider the golden source, right, which is my resume, and then you're taking the JD, and then out of nowhere, you're coming up with stuff. And one of the things you can tell, depending on the model, you can tell it, do not do that. Meaning, if you don't know the answer, tell me. Now, unfortunately, most of the models also have an issue with inference, meaning there's like an inference window, and it loses memory, so to speak, even the ones that are supposed to keep it, and then they forget, basically. And most of the models today, again, varying degrees, will actually give you an answer that you didn't necessarily ask for, meaning it may make stuff up. And again, back to the hallucinations. That's going to be a problem. And again, when you're in control of your own training, you're going to have to stuff like RAG, which I always forget what that stands for, but basically you're feeding in more data into something called a vector database, and then your agent talks to the vector database and the LLM, so it gets better, information. So again, there's going to be a lot of things that have to happen to make sure that you're, at least from my perspective, that you're getting accurate information, which you would normally get from a human. And that's part of the problem. It's like, well, we're trying to take what's in here and move that into, a database that anyone can query, using AI, and we're not there yet, in my opinion. Now, again, it really depends on how you use this and whether you're training the model, as opposed to, you're using this generic, ChatGPT or something. And you can create your own ChatGPTs in or you know, GPTs in ChatGPT, and now I have an agent, which, by the way, I've tried to use, and I
Wait a
see
minute.
issues.
Repeat that. You can use
ChatGPT has an agent that can go out and do things for you now, at least if you're paying for it. So, and there's other agent sites that you can do, like N8N, for automation. But part of the problem I see with that is, at least with ChatGPT, is I have no understanding of how you're protecting my connections, my data. And this goes back to the use of these in general. And then, like I said, from a security perspective or a privacy perspective, I don't see the needed transparency. And I'm just, I mean, we are in essence the input source for these models.
Right.
And the question is that something that you want to trade in and have your privacy, and depending on how you've used it, it can be very it can be very deep into your privacy. I mean, some people are actually using it as a therapist, which I think is probably not a
Weird.
great idea. But
yeah, I would not do that. Here's my question for you. So have you ever used, so I speak to ChatGPT. I don't type anything on my phone. And I've gone to bed and I've asked Siri a couple of times for some things, like turn off the lights and do this and do that. And Siri doesn't respond. And I look at my phone and there's a microphone icon and it says Chat GPT. So for some reason, Chat GPT is listening to things that I'm doing and saying after I'm done. And so why do I talk to Chat GPT? Michael and I, during our job search, have gone into our creative modes. And so in the middle of being creative, a thought might come up and I might say, remember this for the morning, life goes beyond the job and you are more than your title. And, and then in the morning, I'll wake up and then I'll kind of create an entire article. Like I actually speak to it and say, all right, and this is what I mean. And I go into, through my life, this has happened, this has happened, this has happened. So it is really powerful and it is written by me in my voice, and ChatGPT is just spitting it out with corrections, right? And sometimes I stutter and I say the same thing twice, so it kind of corrects all that stuff. I don't just go into ChatGPT and say, write an article for me. I fully write out the article or fully write out the song lyrics. And then I will, and I'll correct it all the time, because sometimes it doesn't take my voice into account. So I will go in there and go, no, that's not my voice. Let me put this in a Word document and I'll fix it. But I don't like the fact that I don't know when it is still listening or not, unless I look at my phone and see that icon. Has it ever happened to you?
no, because when it asks to take over the microphone, I usually say no. Now, I actually have three. I have ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity all loaded up on my phone, but I don't necessarily give the mic over. But like you, I use ChatGPT mostly for brainstorming.
Yeah.
So, to be honest, the better writer of the three is Claude. If you want to use something to help you write, you might want to look at Claude. Just saying.
Yeah.
Perplexity I use primarily for deep research or research. One of the things that Perplexity does that ChatGPT at least wasn't, and it may be doing it now, was it would give you actually the links, for sites. So when I'm sites as in, citing a fact, because a lot of times in my deeper articles, I like to provide, the sites for, various things, because that's another thing that I run into with, I think, ChatGPT more than some of them, is ChatGPT will say, well, here's a fact. And then you go to the website and it's like, well, it's not quite the fact. It got it sort of right, but not 100%. So, and so what I'm trying to use the LMs for, beyond just the brainstorming, is an extension for like a research assistant or something. And to
Right.
me, that's another value. Is I was using Google before. Well, Google wasn't perfect either. And when it comes to finding facts as opposed to narratives, and we're going to put that to the side
Right.
because there's a lot of that going on. But at least you yourself can kind of eyeball it and say, well, I'm going to have to change this up because it doesn't appear to be a complete fact. Seems to be a little iffy. So I'll just say purported to be or something. But the problem with AI that I've seen is it goes out and says, oh, this is the fact. And then, like I said, I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not going out and actually doing
The research.
like a better word, you're fact checking on AI,
Yeah.
which then begs the question: how much? Well, how am I improving your efficiency? If I have to now, again, I'm not saying it doesn't because I don't even have numbers for this, but let's say I'm I don't know 50% more efficient, but then I have to go back and do the QA. Then I'm only maybe 20% more efficient.
Yeah.
So
Can I say something
anyway,
real quick,
I
Mike?
mean, these are all quibbles, but I think they're important quibbles.
Yeah. So to the audience out there, I just took a look at LinkedIn. I see that there are 42 comments, but none of them are coming through StreamYard. So I apologize if we are not responding to you. We're not seeing them, but I do see them on LinkedIn. So please keep commenting, please keep watching. And then the other thing is on my banner here, I have substack.com at William Rochelle. I would love for you guys to join me and subscribe to my channel for free. And then repost something. It helps a ton if people out there are subscribing, liking, and reposting. It helps with the algorithm. I've also put into the chat my YouTube channel. So if you guys want to go over to YouTube, that might be working better than LinkedIn right now with the comments. Check it out. Let me know. Love you guys. But I'm not seeing any of the comments on StreamYard. So they're not pulling through. And as I said at the beginning of this, Michael, there was a note that said LinkedIn is having intermittent connectivity issues. StreamYard is aware of it. LinkedIn is aware of it. So it's not you, it's not us, it's not the word fuck. It's LinkedIn is having connectivity issues. So let's be real before we judge. Go ahead, Mike. And now Michael is having connectivity issues. Do you like the way I threw that word fuck in there?
Yeah, well, I think I fixed. Yeah, just throw it in there. Just slip it in
Yeah.
there. Yeah, I'm also having problems with LinkedIn, by the way. I'm trying to follow I've been having this for a while. I have a really decent internet connection, but there's something going on. I don't know if it's Chrome, because when I use Chrome a lot for sharing, it seems to be a better share tool. But I don't know if it's a memory hog, but like right now, LinkedIn right now is spinning. And usually what I find is when it's doing that, it causes issues with my conferencing, the video
Yeah.
conferencing.
Yeah. So it's not your connection or anything. It literally is LinkedIn right now. But I'm excited that we have 42 comments because I was thinking to myself, no one joined us, but they're out there. We just can't see it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Who is this? Ladies and gentlemen, ding dong. It's Michael. I mean, Peter.
How are y'all doing?
How do you feel, Peter?
Doing
Hey,
good.
Michael, how's it going? You're looking great, Michael. I mean, Peter.
You are looking great, Michael.
So, how did everything go? Do you know?
Why,
How do
thank you.
How do you feel? That's the best question to ask, because we feel like we either nailed it or I'm not sure.
I mean, I feel really good. I mean, whenever she responded to my answers, she said wonderful to each one. So,
Yeah.
and we had a little bit of a on the backside. We both had to reschedule the interviews once for each other. I had to do it for a medical situation for my great uncle. She had to do it for a meeting. So I feel that having that background of we were able to
Flexibility.
reschedule with each other and help each other out. I feel like it helps that trust a little bit more early on. So I feel good.
Good. I think that you're a good guy and you deserve the best. And you're always attentive and responsive and eager. I like that. I'd hire you.
Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome, sir. All right, Michael, go ahead and finish what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Well, I would hire him just for his muscles and his dedication to being fit, which I think is important. I was really impressed with his home gym, but
The 310
all-
pound squats.
but in all seriousness, I mean, I do want to talk about authenticity, transparency, and most of all, integrity, because to me, that's been a mainstay of my career. That's not necessarily rewarded in corporate America. So that's something I'm going to continue to stick with. And I think in cyber particularly there's an expectation, certainly amongst my peers, that we are, people of integrity, and that when you ask me something about the landscape for the company, I will give you an honest answer. That answer may not be politically correct, or it may not be what you want to hear, but I will give you the honest answer.
Nice. Good. So there's a difference, guys, between being laid off at 50 and being laid off at 28. And it's hard to describe, but for the crowd that is Peter's age, you might feel impatient, have some self-doubt, maybe imposter syndrome. But when you're over 50, I can hit a brick wall, identity crisis, loss of purpose. And a lot of folks like me in that range were taught loyalty to stay with the company, move up the ladder, retire proud. That story is not reality anymore at all. One of the things I like, and Peter, you missed it, but we were talking about company versus employee loyalty. And there's this lady, or it's not really a lady, it's a cartoon, but her name is Veronica. And Veronica walks into her boss and says, "I quit." And the boss says, "Well, you should be giving me 2 weeks notice." And Veronica says, "You didn't give Jennifer 2 weeks notice when you fired her last week. So why should I'm giving you the same respect that you give your employees, which is none." And as a hiring, as a person that hires and releases, I was conflicted by that, because Veronica is kind of right? So the company expects you to give them a 2-week notice so that they can figure things out. But they can let you go at any time for no reason. And if you're in California, you normally get 2 weeks severance or something like that, plus your vacation pay. But in a lot of states, it's not required. So literally, you are dropped with no parachute. You don't even have that cushion of the 2-week pay in some states to figure out how you're going to get to your next one, because a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck. So that 2 weeks extra allows them to Number one, reflect, adjust, grieve, and then repurpose yourself. And number two, to not worry for the next 2 weeks about how you're feeding yourself while you try to get yourself back on track, right? Because all of that stuff happened. So when you lose your source of income and you're blindsided by it, you're confused. And jumping back on that horse right away isn't as easy as people say. It's not. Mike, I think you and I share similar experiences, and we've had more than one job, I believe. So, what are your thoughts on what I just said?
I think in the space of my career, it's changed pretty radically. For instance, I was working with AT&T when they had their first large layoffs. That was in the kind of mid 90s. So prior to that, and again, I've been around for a few years, there was there was loyalty to the employee. You had a job for life in some of these companies, or at least that was the story. And for the most part, it was true. The IBMs of the world, the AT&Ts of the world, that's changed rather
surprised
drastically.
that those big companies are no longer around, or if they are around, they no longer have that significant value that they once held? Like IBM,
I'm not.
I don't know anyone who knows. Do you know who IBM is, Peter?
I've heard of them before.
Okay, because they were like a staple growing up. And
Yeah,
before we move on, Jeremy, how are you?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. I want to check in on you. After last week's call, you shared a lot, and
Sorry
I
for
was
that.
no. Why are you sorry? I was so proud of you.
Sharing. That's
We
why.
love you for that. And how are you feeling this week? Do you feel lighter? Are you still processing? What's shifted for you since then?
God shifted for me since then.
There you go.
I'll say that, get that out of the way. I'll just get to the truth. I've been working really hard. I've been working really hard, quietly and silently, suffering, not letting everybody know when I'm hurting, not communicating, because there's nothing to communicate when it's on me. So I like to heal alone. And when I'm really ready to heal with others, if it's a like-minded situation, meaning like, what I'm struggling with is something that you might be struggling with, and we could be a battle buddy and get through it together instead of having to do it alone. Because sometimes your plan might be great, somebody else's plan might be better.
Yeah.
Maybe not the whole plan, but a little bit. So
of it.
I appreciate having been able to share. I apologize because I know sometimes, like you and many others, we get on our share and we get so caught up in our share, we don't realize how much time has gone by. And so I was apologizing for equal shares, like giving people the equal amount of time to speak and not steal the show. And so we all get a chance to say something and also chime in.
I thought we all did get a chance to say something, but
We did.
what I would say is that what you shared touched me so much. I haven't forgotten about it. I've thought about it all week. It was very raw, very genuine. And I think someone out there was healed by it. And that's the whole purpose of UBU Live, which is, speak our truths, understand that we're not being judged, understand that we all have a past, and understand that we all are better than where we were. So with all of that, I say congratulations. You don't ever say I'm sorry for you sharing your truth, because that is why I want to do this. So I'm glad that you're good.
Oh, Bill, I'm going to chip in here and say we don't know when we're sharing in authenticity, in truth, in transparency, what the impact is going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why, Jeremy, and I it was raw, but I think we all, and I keep on saying this, we all want to be seen, heard, and valued. And when we share in authenticity, we are actually giving and we're communicating a value that often we don't. And I know you probably have experienced this a little bit differently because of the situation you're in, but there's times where I've communicated things and either I don't get to see what happened with those seeds that got planted, or I will see them years later.
Yeah.
Like I expressed with Bill, I think, with a one time where I had an individual that said 35 years ago I had shown him, some kindness and some assistance, and that meant a lot because I'm like, wow, that to me was a God moment of showing that my integrity, my willingness to be of service, the character that I try to keep up and and act in every day means something. And I just want to say, man, don't say sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the
So,
same at the same time, know that will have an impact. Like I said, I'm hoping that it's for you, that it is positive. But I think I've said this before. If you're over the target, you're going to get flack, meaning, and that's metaphysical. You can read between the lines here. But I actually believe in that there are forces at work, and if you are trying to spread light, the forces of darkness can come against you. It's just, and I think we have to be cognizant of that, because I think often we're like, well, it's me, or something I did. I'm like, it might be, but consider that there may be something metaphysical going on as well. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to share that with you, bro.
I think it's going to open doors for you.
Can I be honest with you guys? You ready for it?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's just one of thousands.
Of stories?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I've kept to myself. What you've seen, and I'm glad that you did. And it's been a while since I've been able to see, since I left Colorado, where I was firsthand forcing myself to be subservient and listen and try to not fall back into anything other than who I am and not who I used to be. So coming from the lowest construct in my mind was to be at the absolute bottom and still see humanity in a way where even at the bottom I knew I could make a difference. And so and truth be told, you guys, it wasn't my intention to be homeless out there at all. I thought I was coming there for a day to save a man, maybe stay a few days and come back home. Truth is, he said to stay. Otherwise, I was leaving after I saved him the first time. But you guys wouldn't understand, though, that God said, you're not done with him yet. And so before I even parted ways with him, he said that to me. And that man went off into an ambulance. And he said, I don't know who you are, but thank you. And I said, I know you don't really know who I am either. And I didn't want to say I came here for you either. So I don't want to scare him. So I said, I'll be seeing you again, as I always run into people again, especially in cases like this. I said, so I'll see you around. And we did. Met up with me 3 days later, thanked me again. A month later, I saved that man again. When I came to go get a job, you guys, I went to go get this job. Like I said, I was going to go fix the gas station, clean up the homeless in a way where we all could work together in a community and not have some of the things that I was seeing. And so, having been a troublemaker and been in trouble, I understand the intellect of some of the less than sane traversing around, whether they're on drugs or not, doesn't matter. I see people, I don't see problems.
Right.
So, coming as a problem, I realized that I had an opportunity to make an impact quietly and openly, and choosing openly and quietly. It wasn't. I don't know. I just wanted to be able to help people without anybody seeing me, if that's okay.
Yeah, I see
You know,
people,
like
not
you know what I
problems.
mean? Like, you don't want the reward. The reward is seeing somebody else have the ability to be encouraged to change their own lives. You don't need to hold their hand. Sometimes a hug, a little bit of food, something. I'm just saying. So
Yeah,
those things kept happening, Bill, the whole time. I'm sorry, William. The whole time I was
you
there.
can call me Bill. That's
Sorry. Well, I mean, we're getting there. But all right, Bill. So, getting back to the heat of the moment is this: I've learned to listen when I have fought like hell to not to, because I know every time. Sometimes, you know, sometimes you got to come prepared. And how can you prepare for something you don't know what you're being prepared for? So, like, you guys, like, I felt like I put on the suit of armor. I built my body up. I went through hell for 90 damn days, back to back, up for, I will never know. It's too long. And to do it on my own because I know I can, whereas other people said to be impatient under medical supervision. I thought, God, I got this. And I did. But what I didn't expect, you know, like after all that God would be like, okay, I'm setting you out on a mission. I ain't never been
Yeah.
on a mission all my life, but like it's a calling, you guys, for real. It's he literally speaks with me. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to lie anymore by dimming myself down so other people could feel comfortable around me. He speaks
No.
to me. He speaks to me. I listen. And sometimes sometimes it's just my presence because I'm just a vessel. He works through me. I'm not him. He's not me. But we are made in his image. So it should be no secret to anyone that everyone here on this planet is very much godlike because God's within. And when you're without God, that's just you're disconnected.
Right.
And then moving forward, like, you know, like I don't want to get into doctrines. God speaks to everybody and those who will listen. And that is the truth. That is outside of everything. And like I don't need to have
Have
a
you
bunch of
always
people.
been a spiritual person?
No, but I've always been connected to what I'm saying in a way that it made me feel like it was anything but a person. I thought it was a curse. I thought it was crazy until I started listening. And then all of a sudden, I realized that I wasn't listening and that not listening was far worse than listening. Because you guys, I've watched miracles happen right in front of my face and being the one to deliver them. Not, I don't know how to say it. He touches me, I touch them. It's that simple. And he says, that one. Sometimes he don't say nothing. It's like a feeling. I just know. Like I know if you're bad and I know if you're good. If I am confused, I will ask you. If I am not confused, I won't deal with you. Not because you don't deserve my love or his love or anyone's love. It is simply that you are unlovable unto
Right.
yourself. So you're unlovable unto others. Same thing with war. You have a war with yourself. You have a war with others. There could be no war unless there are two sides. Otherwise, there's only destruction. And destruction isn't love.
That's
So
deep.
I will not go any more deep. I will not take any more of your show. You're
It's
doing
our
what I
show.
want. Yeah, I'm just saying, you guys are like, you were doing what I never thought I wanted to do. So like when I opened my business, I thought that I was just going to be an online coach. You know, people would come to my business and I would talk to them just like this, one-on-one at face value. You could throw at me whatever the hell it is on your heart, whatever is in your head, and whatever keeps your body stuck. I don't know what he's done to me, but whatever he's done to me, I've done it to other people, and I never force it. It's never by force. Like, for real. Like, the only thing I could say is this. Probably one of the greatest experiences other than him saving my life would be to take an addict off the street, and to have like watched an outcome that was going to happen, and just knowing that you were the one that was going to save them, and they don't know it. And then not only that, they walk right towards you.
Mm.
And the night before this particular incident, a light went off right next to me, bright as all get out. No, I wasn't high. No, I wasn't hallucinating. I was sober. And right where that light ended and blew up underneath the bridge was exactly where the man would stand the next day, exactly staring right where I seen it. And I could feel him from at least 300 feet away. And I could feel that he wanted to kill himself. He was ready to give up. And I knew it. So when he walked by me, I reached out. I gave him a hug. I told him I loved him. I told him I knew exactly what he's going through. And not only that, I may have been there in some sort of a different way, but no different than yours.
Right.
And I said, and I'm like, and I love you, and I mean it. Like, I don't care that you have a problem. You don't have a problem you can't fix. And so, like, whereas I gave him something that was legal, so he wouldn't use meth. And I told him, I said, this is about enough for about a week. I said, I don't condone what I'm doing, but I wouldn't be doing if I didn't know what I was doing was right. And I said, so I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to give you this pipe, and I know that you do meth, and I wouldn't do that. I said, but I know for a fact, before you even finish this, what you want to give your mother for Christmas, you will. So he did. He disappeared. He checked himself into rehab. He got sober. Before I left, after I got pushed off that mountain that day, that very day, his mother found me on my way out of Colorado. I was about to leave. It was about an hour before I left to come back. And she thanked me. She said, my son thanks you. He can't tell you himself because he's in rehab. And he wanted me to come find you and thank you for whatever you did. She's like, I don't know what you did for me and my son, but I'm out here today to thank you. And then I touched another man right after that. He came walking by me. He was in pain, shaking and slapping his hands. And just like that moment on the bridge, it was no different. And so this is like less than 30 minutes before I'm going to leave. I saved one more man. And he walks by and I talked to him. And it's the way he looked at me. I said, I know you see me dressed nice, but don't let these clothes fool you. I said, I'm a human being just like you, and there's no difference between you and me. I said a few other things to him. And I tried to shake his hand. He wouldn't let me shake his hand. He's like, no. He's like, I've abused drugs. He's like, it's just so my body hurt. So I said, all right, I won't touch you. I said, but do you mind if I pray for you? And so I prayed for him. And I said, do you mind if I lightly put my hands on your arm? He said, yeah. So I reached over to put my hands on his arm. It was at that time before I could finish my prayer. It probably exactly at the time I finished the prayer. He got shocked. I got shocked, and we repelled 3 feet apart. And he, after that, started jumping and screaming, what the hell did you do to me? And I said, I didn't do anything to you. He's like, no, not what did you do to me, but what did you do to me? And then he started slapping his hand. I'm like, whoa, what are you doing, dude? He's like, no, I don't have any pain. And I said, I love you, my brother. I said, the other question and the answer to what you're looking for is right up this sidewalk and you'll find it. So, but I got to go. Because God said I was in danger and I have to leave. But I wasn't leaving without his word. Because he's the reason why I stayed. And there is no other reason. Other than I knew that I was there for a purpose outside of whatever purpose was important to me. So I literally gave up my life Christ-like. And that's exactly what I prayed for about a week before he told me to go there to begin with. Because I wanted to understand through his eyes, not through other people's words. So not only did he tell me, but he showed me and he walked with me every step of the way. When they tried to attack me, he explicitly told me what they were going to do. So I could see what they were going to do before they did it. And guess what I did? I didn't walk away. I walked right through it. That's the truth. So I can only give it to you in that form. I won't lie to you.
That's the only way
or
we can do
anyone.
it.
So like I'm saying, I know it's deep, it's rough, it's emotional, but these shows I know are important. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
God knows what he's doing. I don't question and I just live it. But I also want to be like you guys. I don't want to be Mr. Millionaire Inventor and all that crap, man. You know what I want? I want real love, and I want it raw, and I want it in its truest form. And so the only way I'm able to give it is by giving it. And somehow it
When you
finds me
say-
back.
When you say you want to be like you guys,
Oh, boy.
what does that mean? Because I'm not
I
sure
want to
what my
know.
life-
I want to know what it's like to not create and just be. I want to know what it's like again to sit in peace without the feeling of what I had to endure on my birthday on September 16th. And I am over it, over all of it, because I had a mission way before God sent me on one. But I didn't realize that his is more important than mine. And that's where we got rerouted. And yeah, he fundamentally changed me. The way I
You do-
think, the way I act, everything.
You do understand that we are all works in progress and that I am broken. Like, I am broken. And I can't speak for any of the other two, but every day I wake up with a challenge. And
Not broken.
well, I make it look easy, but it's not, you know. Little things get to me. You know, I told you, you know, yesterday that I was told that I can't be myself because being myself was too intense on someone else's show, and that messed with my head, because I'm like, I host a show called UBU Live. I say the word fuck all the time. I've never got kicked off. LinkedIn is having intermittent issues, which I'm telling you guys now, because when I logged on to StreamYard, it says it's been reported that LinkedIn is having intermittent issues, connectivity issues.
Yeah.
Right now, nothing is coming through from LinkedIn, but when I go on my phone, I can see that people are commenting. So to have someone say, so first of all, there's one thing there, is I never point the blame at anybody else before I check out my facts. I never point the blame at anyone else before I check out my facts. I've been doing this for a while, and I've actually ended a stream. And when I ended my stream, it said, "We're sorry, but LinkedIn didn't save your stream." So I just reposted it. It wasn't because I did anything wrong. It was a connectivity issue. When you're having a good time and you think that things are flowing and the conversation is going, and you know, someone asks you a question and then they send you a message that says, "I'm too intense," what that says to me is the real you, the real Bill, is not adequate. The real Bill is a jerk. The real Bill is someone who I don't want on my platform. And I said, "I'm sorry, I won't go on your platform again." And that person said, "Thank you." And then said, "You're always welcome, but you're way too intense for me." So first of all, you said thank you. Then you say you're always welcome. And then you say you're way too intense. So those were three words, and the middle one was contradictory, right? You're always welcome, but thank you for not showing up again. And you're too intense. So what am I supposed to do with that? And what I realized this morning, because I woke up with that on my mind, because number one, I wanted to get to the bottom of it. Like, did I really get this person kicked off of LinkedIn and YouTube? I had to listen to the audio again. I had to, right? It was just the way my mind works. I'm not gonna let this go. Like, what did I say? And so I said fuck twice. I've said it 4 times today on purpose. And we haven't gotten kicked off yet. So
Bill,
it really bothered me. It really
Fine.
bothered me. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to say the person. I'm not. No one else say it. But it's someone's show that I don't really like. Like, it's boring to me. You're selling microphones. Like, I don't need to hear that. It's boring. Yes, sir.
Me or him?
a couple things. I have to interject this before I forget. Because I'm old.
That's
and
age, Jeremy. So yes, we go first.
have a crapper memory. I think that I think you and I suffer from something similar, imposter syndrome, even though we have years of experience behind us. So I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
But I also think that we all want to be seen, heard, and valued. Valued
Yes.
being at least a big part of that, right? So part of me, like I had to release, I was on a Discord server that I was really struggling with because I'm like, they don't understand me. I'm being authentic. I'm posting some of my songs. I'm posting how I feel, and I'm just kind of getting dumped on. And so
Yeah.
part of me said, I have to release them for now, at least, because they're on a path. Well, we're all on different paths, but they're in a place, this goes to Jeremy, in a place where they don't have ears to hear. So if you don't have ears to hear, this is what I'm agreeing with what he said was, then I'm not gonna. It's not that I'm wasting my time, but I do have limited time too here on Earth.
Right.
So I have
Right.
to prioritize where I want to put my energy. So I want to put my energy where I feel that it's going to be, as much as I'm able, to be of use, and including helping another, lifting another up, which I think is there's a lot of people out there who've gone through trauma, whatever. I actually think that the trauma I've been through has actually made me empathetic. I'm also very prickly relative to that trauma, and so it's kind of a two-edged sword, right? So at one hand, I'm really hypersensitive to the abuse of power,
Yeah.
for instance, and I think that's a superpower because then I can be with people that have suffered.
Hold on for
So
a second.
it's
So
like,
it says we're having trouble streaming to Facebook. This may be an issue on Facebook. And is it possible the stream was ended or deleted on Facebook? We'll keep trying and let you know. So this is an issue with StreamYard. This is not an issue with Bill.
Yeah.
And it said that before I logged on. So before we even started this, there was I tried to screen print it, but there was a big banner saying we're having connectivity issues. So it's not me or the fuck word or any of it. It's the systems that we're dealing with.
and Bill, even if this conversation is between the four of us and can be recorded and shown later,
Yeah.
that's good enough, right? But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
So that was one point, and then I think the other is a very wise friend of mine, happened to be a pastor, once said, the issue is very rarely the issue. Meaning that sometimes when someone is presenting like a shadow towards you, it's not you, it's them. So something in their past or something that's going on. Obviously, this gentleman doesn't want his show to be cut short. Does that
It was 3 hours.
does that
It was 3 hours.
right?
was 3 hours long.
2:45. 2:45. So I was on the show, by the way, Bill. At some point, we're all trying, like I said, we're all trying to do the best we can, but I have a famous saying that Bill keeps on looking at his watch and ignoring me.
No, I don't.
Your freedoms. I know.
I'm taking it off now.
It's distracting.
I'm
It's like,
sorry.
Is Mike done yet?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. And I'm not going to send you
And poor
hate mail
Peter
after.
hasn't gotten, and Peter hasn't gotten to talk. So I'm going to
No.
shut up in a second. But
Yes.
but that we got to say what we got to say, and then at some point you just leave it. We got to
You know what, though,
be
Mike?
you.
Yeah. You know what, though? To be honest with you, if we really think about it and if I really unpack it, my feelings were hurt.
Yeah.
My feelings were hurt. I didn't understand what I did wrong. I didn't understand, even though we now know that it's a technical issue, right? We know that. At least for StreamYard, it's a technical issue. And they said it was on LinkedIn's end. And I've dropped the F-bomb 4 times today. I dropped it twice yesterday, intentionally, and we have not gotten kicked off of LinkedIn or YouTube. And we got an error saying that Facebook was having a technical issue on their end. So the messaging on StreamYard is really good. It tells you where the issue is and what's happening. But despite
But Bill,
that,
I think it's important. First of all, to
let me
acknowledge.
finish this. Let me finish.
Yeah.
I think the problem is
Okay.
that even though it was a technical issue, that person said that your personality, the real you, the raw, unfiltered you, is too intense. And the reason why I created a show called You Be You is so that people can be their authentic selves. And you're telling me that me being authentic is too much. So that's where the feelings got hurt. The did I ruin this man's show? Like, all of that occurred in my mind. And I suffer, I'll be honest with you guys, I suffer from anxiety really bad.
Your inner child was hurt, and what
Yes.
he did reminded you of it.
Yes. I've always been told to shut up or be quiet or sit in my place. I think I did a thought of the day about it. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry I cut you off, but I needed to finish that because just like you, I'm over 50. And if I don't say what I have to say, I will forget.
No, I wanted to say a couple things. First of all,
No,
I think it's
I'm
important
good.
to. What?
I'm sorry. That was rude. I apologize. I was trying to be ridiculously, inappropriately at that moment funny. I fell short. I'm sorry.
I didn't even hear what
I'm
you said.
sorry.
Go ahead,
I
Mike.
didn't either. A couple things. I think it's important that you acknowledge that. I think it's important then because we all have to be our authentic, in my opinion. We need to be our authentic selves. Otherwise, you start to have other issues.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. So if it's true that your authentic self is not the right personality for that show,
I'm not going back.
then you
No.
then you do what Jeremy did. And I'm sorry, but your freedom stops at my nose, and that goes 2 ways. So I have to have appropriate boundaries. I have to be me, and so if I can't be me on your show, it's no big deal. I'm sorry, Bill, and
Yeah.
I know.
And I'll
We all-
support
I-
it. I'll repost.
Yeah.
I'm just not going on.
Yeah.
I'm not putting
And
myself in a
that
situation
is-
again.
And that is totally okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, because at some it's what's more important. And I'm sorry, but I believe this connection, relationship, y- you can do whatever show you want and you can do however you want. I'm not saying that. But I'm
Mhm.
saying at the end of the day, to me, what is paramount is connection.
Yeah.
And if you have broken connection for the sake of your show, then I may and I've already been thinking about taking action myself, and I think I've probably gotten there. So anyway, that's my share.
Thank you, sir. Peter, now it's all on you while I run to the bathroom because I got to pee. Go ahead, Peter, it's your show. Woohoo! Be right back.
I mean, with everything that's being said, you can't please everybody. Don't even try. And the thing is, with what Bill was just talking about that person who's saying that you're too intense for my show, and in that case, too raw, too real. I feel sorry for him, whoever that person is, because I bet they said something along the lines of, "I love to be transparent. I love to be truthful." And you just told somebody you can't be that on his show or their show. I don't know whoever the person is. I just feel sorry for him. So I hope that Bill, you shouldn't let that bother him whatsoever. I mean, you can't be everybody's cup of tea. But a couple things you did say, but things that did bother me don't really bother me anymore. For instance, I can think of two specific interviews I had where they actually gave me legitimate feedback and I appreciated it. I didn't quite get an understanding of what they meant because one of them said, "I don't see your passion for recruitment." And I'm thinking, okay, my first instinct is so, but this was over an email. The interviewer didn't actually get to tell me exactly why. But whenever somebody says I am something, I question them rather than get defensive. I will question them and ask them, "So what makes you think I'm not passionate? What did I say? What did I do that makes you think I'm not passionate?" I never got a response. And so even though like when Bill was talking about that, what was said to him bothered him, that did bother me a ton because I'm super passionate about recruiting. I love helping people. I love helping people getting into a better situation in life because I've been in crappy situations multiple times over the last 5 years. And I love getting people out of those ruts by getting them hired on to any position that helps them change their life XYZ. And so I let that bother me, but at the same time, eventually I did let it go. And then this other time that I actually he actually like told me over the phone, but didn't really give me any rebuttal because one thing that I did say to him, his reasoning why he didn't hire me, this was for a talent acquisition position. And he said he didn't hire me because he didn't believe I built effective relationships. And I reminded him, well, I guess I didn't remind him. At first I gave him the opportunity to say why. And then I can't recall him saying anything that helped his side at all. And then I'm telling him that, so you're telling me for someone who's handled 50 hiring managers at one point, 500 positions, managed a team of 10, trained 30 recruiters all at the same time, and made this company millions, if not tens of millions of dollars during that entire period, is terrible at communication and building relationships. And
Who was this that said that?
this was somebody that was told me that I wasn't good enough for a talent acquisition position because he doesn't believe that I would build relationships well.
But that's a recruiter, or was it someone that you worked for?
It was a head of recruitment for a company. And I'm telling them all that, and I pretty much said it the way I just said it to you guys there. And then I ask him, so what within what I just said, what I've done, what I've successfully done would make you think I'm terrible at communication? And honestly, he didn't have a good rebuttal for me. And I think that sometimes people are just hurt because maybe, I can't confirm this, but I feel that sometimes people are mad because you show qualities that they don't have that they wish that they had.
I wish I could believe that,
Yeah.
because that would make it real easy, right?
Mhm.
I'm too good for them. You know, they're scared of me. That would make it easier. But when someone says, because of my anxiety, right? So I'm going to take that route because it really is a condition, right?
Mhm.
When someone says, I don't think you're good enough, no matter who they are, it's hard for me to take it not personally.
Mhm.
You know, and some people could just water off their back. They're like, you know what, they don't really know me.
Mhm.
They didn't take time. It was only like an hour, or they only give 30 minutes, and they were looking at their watch and they were looking at their phone. And so how can they make this connection, because I'm not the right person? But I walk away thinking, what did I do? And as Michael said, you know, I need to learn how to let it go, because if you guys are listening to me, I'm still messed up over that. Like I that was last night, and I'm still mad. Like I'm not. Well, a little bit. I'm hurt, but I'm still like, wow. There's so many layers to that, right? So the blaming of getting kicked off, right? So that was my fault, and then no apology this morning, saying, you know what, I recognize there were connectivity issues with LinkedIn, you know, and I've sent an email saying there's connectivities with LinkedIn, and shared my screenshot. Um, I've used the F bomb 4 times just to make sure. Like, let me just do it myself. Um, but my feelings were hurt. like, dang it! Like, all my life, I've been fighting. I had to fight my brothers and my uncles. That's Oprah Winfrey from The Color Purple. But anyway, it really is challenging when someone says that your personality, who you are as a person, doesn't jive with who they want me to be. And I will never be who you want me to be. I will be the best me that I can be. I don't care, you know, if people, you know, down under are nicer than me or not as intense as me. We were having a conversation. We were having a conversation. And in that conversation, you asked me a question and I answered it. And then someone made a joke about, you know, being somebody's agent. And I'm like, no, leave it alone. Because I was trying to like recruit the guy. Come on over to me. Come over to Substack. So to me, it was a great conversation explaining, you know, how I'm doing my thing, the tactics that I'm taking. And one gentleman said, oh, you know, never wait till you're perfect. And I'm like, I think you're misunderstanding. I'm doing all of it. Like my streams are going on LinkedIn, they're going on YouTube, they're going on Facebook, they're going on Substack, they're going on Spotify, they're going on Apple Podcasts, and they're on YouTube. So I'm doing all of it. It's just, when do you monetize? When that was the question, right? And I said, when you get critical mass, because I want everybody to join me on Substack. And my 3 friends here, because you guys are my friends, you need to follow me on Substack right down there. Just do it. Because I only have like 19 followers. I have 30,000 on LinkedIn, and, you know, 58 on YouTube. It's not matching up, but people are actually reviewing my streams. People are looking at it. And, you know, the statistics say that what we're putting out there is resonating with the audience that we're trying to reach. So I just said, I'm not ready to monetize. So it was just like a really quick back and forth. And then, just like I just told you guys, hey, go sign up with me on Substack. I said that on the show yesterday. I was like, hey, you sir, why aren't you like subscribing to my channel? And, you know, he was like, okay, I'll do it right now. And I was like, it was all jovial to me. But at the end, I was the big bad wolf. And sometimes I can take that. And other times I'm not here to please you.
I think I want to say a couple things about that. For me, I am very, I have been accused falsely or wrongly in the past. So I don't like the concept of that and being accused falsely. So that goes deep, maybe deeper than it should.
Right.
I also feel, however, that it behooves me in my humility to look at it. I'm not saying take it on board, but look at it and see if there's any truth there. Now, it's important. If there's truth there, then, I'll figure out a way to deal with it. If there's no truth there, this is the hard part for me. I'm not saying for you, because I don't know. It's hard for me to let go of that because that hurt goes so deep, because it goes back to my childhood.
Yeah.
It goes
Most
so deep.
traumas
And I know this is, yeah. And so what I'm trying to learn is I got to let it go. That's not my problem. I need to move forward. Like, even with, my imposter syndrome, I said, wait a minute. I need to separate from what is and isn't true. So there were times in my career that I would have liked to move things further along, would have liked them to be closer to perfect, if you will. But at the same time, I look at it like, whoa, time out. You did the best you could. It's on the other people that didn't, do what was needed, actually. And so over time, my brain had shifted because, Bill, I was in the dumps. I was in the dumps for a while, actually, after I got laid off from my last job. Because I'm like, I have so much more to offer. I can mentor the current CISO. So I had a lot more on the table. And then you start to go, what is it? What did I do wrong? And to be honest, I think part of what I did wrong was have integrity. And again, that's okay if that's the wrong company for me. And I look at it, by the way, that two of the jobs that I lost, I look at it as a blessing that I was relieved of those positions, because obviously there was a disconnect between what I wanted to do as a man of integrity and what the company wanted to do, or at least the leadership of the company wanted to do. And Bill, I think I'm following you on Substack. I'm not sure. I'll double check.
I think you are too, but the other two, I don't know.
Well, I just it's at William Rochelle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like
I didn't catch that last night. I apologize,
Mike. I hear what you're saying, and I love what you're saying, and it means the world to me. I'm in the dumps right now. Every day that's longer, every day that goes by when I don't get a phone call, or I get woken up early in the morning by a phone call saying, "Oh, it's time to pay this." It's kind of like, oh my God, how much more can I take? And everyone thinks, like I told Jeremy earlier, I make this look easy. Everyone thinks that, I talked to someone that did one of my shows, and then afterwards we spoke, and he said, I was just under the impression that you were like a news guy that was like, that had been doing this for years, and, that everything was great. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to occupy my time so I don't go crazy looking at my dogs. And who are you speaking to, Jeremy?
I'm just lightly saying superstar. Sorry, dude.
And you know,
I-
it's depressing as hell. Like it's harder every single day. And I'm trying every day to gather up that energy to say, you know, you haven't failed, you're pivoting. And, you know, as Jeremy just said, you know, that there's a purpose that God is giving you and just follow that purpose. So right now, every day I get up and I write my articles now again, and I jump on things like this so that we can talk it through. So other people can know that we are perfectly imperfect in our being. The only thing Peter's perfect at is his diet and his workout.
You don't have to take that, Peter. You don't have to take it.
But it's not easy, Mike. And people think that as you get older, you know, you've dealt with so much and it's easier. I think it's easier to do the rebound at 28 than it is at 50.
I think that there's a false sense of security, or when you're younger, you feel invincible. At least I did.
Yes. Yes.
Having gone through a quadruple bypass, I don't feel invincible anymore. But the reality of that is, like I said, I mean, I've worked with and been in a number of self-help groups, including job seeker groups. There is a power in community. There just is. That when you realize, even though what you went through was very painful, was very traumatic, you're not the only one, and you have something
Does
to
that
offer.
help though?
Yes.
That you're not the only one, when really it's your house that you know you're behind on the payments. It's your car that you're behind on the payments.
Yes.
Do you care that it's happening to other people?
Yes.
So that makes you
Because
feel
I
better.
think, well, in reality, I mean, there's data to support it, but beyond that, I think when I don't even know, I can't put it into words, but when, regardless of the trauma that I've dealt with, there is something that happens when you admit to what you're going through in a group that alleviates some of that. Now, I'm not saying it takes it away. And this is where I think Jeremy hit on it, that these four brains are better than one.
Yeah.
Even like Jeremy or Bill or this other guy can say something. Peter can say something that may not answer what, or even be 100% part of what I needed to hear, but it tilted my point of view just 20 degrees, and it clicked. Something clicked, and I think we can't discount the power of community. That's all I'm saying.
I 100% agree with that. And I think what we're doing with this Wednesday show is interesting because it's four guys, all of different backgrounds and age groups. I'm the youngest one on the panel. And living in different areas of the country. I don't know why Jeremy thought that was funny. Living in different areas of the country. But we're all finding common ground. So speaking of common ground, let's unmute Peter and let him take over the show. Peter. Let's see how you engage.
Do it, Peter.
Thinking about what I want to say now, because if anything, unless I'm mistaken, I'm younger than Jeremy. So a big thing with me is that I first got onto these audio shows back in early 2013. What are the symbols that you're making, Mike? What is that?
He's 60.
60. And so
60. Yeah.
Maybe there's only one other person that I know of on here that I've come across, at least, that's younger than me. I guess two technically, but one of the people was purposefully on an audio call because this person wanted to highlight this person for how young she is and how well she's doing at something. I forget what it is, but regardless, whenever I've been in all these different rooms, I get the luxury of listening to all these people that are X amount older than me. And so I get the knowledge base of people in their upper 30s, 40s, 60s. Probably there's people in their 70s and 80s. They didn't tell me that they were, but maybe they are. So I mean, whenever I'm just that's one of the big things why I keep on going on all these different shows, is that I get to learn from all of you guys. And I think going back to Bill, whenever you were asking, does it help to know if other people are in the same situation? Yeah. I mean, if you're lonely, it kills you. I mean, if I wasn't living at my parents' house right now, during all these times where I've been unemployed, I would be in bad shape. Like you need people around you. You need some form of community around you to keep yourself going. Anybody that spends any at all time really truly by themselves, they're not happy. And if they are saying that they're happy, then you need to be around those people that say that they are lonely in any form or fashion. We are a community based people that we need to be around each other, otherwise we will go crazy. And
yeah, I 100% agree with that. And like today has been a struggle day for me. Some days are great, right? Some days you wake up and you're like, I can go and I can move and I can do everything in the world. And there's other days, like after this, I'm going back to bed. Like I'm just like, I'm over it. I'm over it. It's just not, I didn't wake up in the best mood. I didn't wake up like excited about things. I didn't wake up wanting to move mountains. I didn't wake up wanting to apply for jobs. I just woke up, and I woke up in a state of restlessness. And that means my soul is not calm. It means my soul is struggling. And I believe that, and I'm going to say this, nobody can change your mood or your attitude. You already have to be feeling a certain way for something to affect you. So I believe that what happened was I'm already down, right? I'm already in a mental space of lack versus abundance, discontent versus joy. And then I get this statement that kind of pushes me over, right? It doesn't make me mad, it makes me sad. And I did everything Michael said, take accountability. That's why I listened to what happened twice, like my segment. What I would say, Mike, is that I didn't take over, but the person asked me a question and I gave a full-throated response. And so and then they tried to break. I noticed that they tried to like have someone else speak, but they asked me a question about Substack and I wanted to get everything out. So don't ask me how I'm using something and then stop me halfway. I'm explaining it to you. And then during that conversation with one of the people, I was like, let me help you. Let's get on the phone call tomorrow. Let's take this offline, and I'll help you. I don't get anything out of it. I'll help you figure out the way to route it. These are the things I'm doing. Let's see if it's working right for you. So maybe they felt like I took over. Maybe that was it. Maybe that's the part that they didn't like. That was too intense. But
I'm
once
going to
you're,
share something in authenticity with you.
uh-huh.
You come across very confident. Dude,
Yeah,
I mean, when I first met you, and particularly when you were doing the boosting, I'm like, who is this guy? And he seems to have it all on, on the ball. So I just want to share that with you because I think often people can go with whatever impression that they have of you in their minds. And again, I think speaking of the showrunner on that show, I was on the show or was, and then I actually got off so someone else could get on.
probably me.
When
That
you
made
are
it all
asking someone,
terrible.
well, no, no, it was actually someone else that didn't end up getting on. But anyway, I think and I think I've talked about this with you before. If you're going to bring guests on, I think that the host also owns, particularly as a showrunner, you own, if you're going to ask a question, then you, in my opinion, you should be leaving a space for the answer.
Absolutely.
And if you're not willing to do that, then, I mean, are you energetic and do you get excited? Yeah, but that's what I would want in a guest.
Yeah.
I think you're a great guest. And to be honest, I think actually he's a pretty good interviewer. I think you are too, but I think his strong suit, like when he's a guest, I don't see him as good as a guest as he is an interviewer. And so I think that's his gift, if you will. But then then you have to leave space for people, particularly, like you are in the midst of doing all this stuff. I mean, it's very new and fresh. And of course, you're going to be, I would hope, excited about it.
Yes.
And sharing that because of your personality, you like to share. So, and that's all good. So don't let this one,
monkey stop my show. That's a saying, guys. I'm not calling anyone a monkey.
It's fine. Superstar.
Yeah. Don't. Like I said, at some point you do want to do a gut check, right? I think it's important to do a gut check, make sure it's not true, and then once you validate it's not true, then you just continue to you be you and roll with it.
There you go.
I agree.
Thank you all for that. So we've been on for an hour and 42 minutes. Peter, we're always going to go back to you because you're sitting there like, please don't call on me. So we're going to wrap things up. Tell me, because I've shared how I'm feeling today, which ain't great. And I love the fact that people like Mike say, I come across very confident. There's a difference between confident and cocky, and I hope it is confident, not cocky, because I don't want to come across as cocky. But I think all of us put on the mask that other people want to think. And that's why I created UBU Live. So you can take off that mask and be your true you. And I can say I'm not confident, that I'm not in the mindset of abundance. I'm in a mindset of lack. I'm in the mindset of I just want to go back to bed and start today over. And it wasn't because of, again, one thing, right? It's everything. It's a phone call I got, that woke me up this morning. It's that from last night. It's, I don't like having to budget. if I want to go to LA, I want to be able to jump on a plane and go. That's the life I'm used to, and I'm just not there right now. And unlike a lot of people, I'm not married. I'm a single man living with 2 dogs.
Hook 'em up.
So, huh?
Nothing. Hook 'em up.
So there's no there's no assistance. There's no additional income. It's just me getting drained day after day after day and getting reminded, and all of my bills, thank God, are paid. But I want to thrive, not survive. And there's a huge difference between thriving and surviving, right? And surviving means you need to worry every single day. You need to figure out, all right, what do I sell if you're in the stock market? What do I sell? And everything's down right now because of the tariffs. Like every time someone mentions something, everything's underwater, right? So which of my underwater items am I going to get rid of, right? And so you're just digging until you realize you only got 3 more items to sell. You still haven't gotten a phone call yet. And then when you do get a phone call, they act like, all right, we'll talk to you later. And just like Peter said, how do you say that I'm not enthusiastic or I can't create connections? How have you made that determination? Why am I too intense? I'm going to keep going back to that.
Deep breathing.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do after we hang up, because I'm about to check out now because I'm really getting tired. And I'm getting tired not because of you guys, but because I'm just in, and Jeremy gets this because I know him. I'm in that state of in between where my soul is restless and I need something to change immediately.
Go sit with it for a while and you will change it immediately.
Immediately. So I need to get out of the news. I need to switch to either rom-coms on the television or or spiritually uplifting stories. But right now my soul is restless and it knows it's not supposed to be here. Not that it's not supposed to be on this earth. It's not supposed to be in this space. And so I need to create and through mind, through spirituality, through manifestation, through affirmations, through belief, I need to create a new space for myself where I fit.
I have a couple before I forget. Sorry, Jeremy.
No, you're right.
The old men keep cutting Jeremy.
It's fine.
Gratitude for me is extremely important. So I really try to start the day out with a gratitude list. That's number 1. Number 2, get out in God's creation. I don't know what it is about nature, but getting out and experiencing birds chirping and the sun, hopefully if the sun's out, just getting out. I actually did that this morning. I try to walk 4 miles a day. And it's important for me because otherwise I have a lovely wife, but she's at work. And I'm not stuck in here, but I'm spending a good amount of time on LinkedIn and doing other things, including creating songs. So, and I think that's the other thing is if you can kind of dig deep and kind of make use of, I'm not saying the pain, but make use of something so that you can get out of that headspace. Because I suffer or have suffered from anxiety. And I think there's actually a chemical thing. So if you have to, if you have to move briefly, I did this for a time where I actually had to get on some chemicals for a little bit. I don't need to do that anymore, but if you feel that you have to do that. My issue was it really kind of made me feel like I was cutting.
Yeah.
It's almost like a band around my head, and I couldn't really think as clearly as I wanted to. But at the same time, I had thoughts that would not stop. I mean, it was bad. And so if you're in that position, and if you need to dip into that momentarily, you have to be very careful about weaning yourself
The right
off.
stuff.
Anyway, so gratitude, getting out in nature, and deep breathing is the other one, and meditation. Again, whether you do that or not, I don't know, but
I try it. And it's only today, and it happens regularly, right? So I'm not gonna lie about it, but today is not a good Bill day. I didn't wake up like, yes, I can tackle the world. I woke up like, fuck, no one's called me. What's going on? And all the compliments I get from people, it's wonderful. You seem confident. You seem like you're really great at what you do. You seem like you can move mountains. I appreciate all of that. But I don't appreciate the question from recruiters that say, why would you work here? Why wouldn't I work there? That doesn't help me. Why would you apply for this? Well, the first reason is I need a job. And the second reason is I can bring to your company a ton of history that is very diverse in its thought process, and that can help you scale your operation without damaging your payroll. I can build the next leaders. And once I'm done, I'll go. But I really am looking for some place where I can stay for 7 years. Hopefully 10. But 7 years is normally when most people kind of have done everything they can do. And then it's time to move on because your ideas are no longer fresh. They're no longer forward thinking. And the company's kind of, I don't want to be a rubber stamp, right? I want to be someone that is creating room and space for Jeremy and Peter to grow. And then once I've groomed them, then they need to be in my office, and I need to find something else so that I can help that next company grow.
Listen, man, I love you, William.
I love you too,
Jeremy. You're one of those original guys. Listen, why don't you sit for a little bit inside of that inner child of yours, because all I keep seeing is the same thing that keeps taking you back. And so I want to say this: if you don't deal with yesterday's problems, they'll become today's.
Woohoo! Every day, every damn time. He comes with the magic. Jeremy always comes with some quote that now he's seeing people.
No, I'm just like, where are you at? Where did you? That was so beyond me. I don't even know where I went.
You come with the magic every time. You say things that, and I told you this last week. While you were talking, that it doesn't matter what we've done in the past. It's where we're at today, and it's where we're going. And we'll keep moving forward, and we'll stumble sometimes, and we'll seem like we're stagnant, and then we'll move forward again. And normally, when you fall, you want to fall forward, right? You want to fall forward, and it happens every single time. And today, I need to believe that more than ever. But it felt like I was just saying it. And most of the time when I am saying it from my gut, from my heart, from my soul, from my spirit, from every point of my chakras. It's a full-throated anthem. And today they feel like words. Do you know what I'm saying, Jeremy? The difference between feeling it in your soul and then just feeling like you're just saying a word.
I think you're a superstar and you need to go dance and shake it off.
I should.
I'm sorry, but I think you're better than the way your day started.
I think I am too.
I think you have a right to be happy.
I think I should. First of all,
you need to go dance.
I agree with you. I agree with everything you're saying. And I also think that today is one of those days where I need to feel. And so most days I try to mask it to put a band-aid over it, to act like everything's okay. But guys, I'm sharing this with everyone out there. Some days it's just not fucking okay. It's not okay. And that's okay. 7 times.
That's 8 times now. That's 8 times.
One
more time it's Fibonacci.
Yeah, it's just not okay. And that's okay. It's okay to really say I'm not okay. And to have a group like this, like people that I can tell are sharing their experiences with me. I don't think any of them, except for Peter, are judging me. Because Peter won't talk. And I think hopefully out there, someone else is like, you know, I felt that way. I'm feeling this way. It will get better, guys. It always does for me. It always does. But
making room for it to get better, or you're making room for it to get worse, and both of those choices are yours.
And that's why I said I need to create a new space, right? Like
a new bubble.
Yeah, I created a
Superstar.
space, and today's space is like, ooh, you know, and I need to change that space, and so I'm going to do that after I wake up.
I want to see you get up off your seat right now and jump up and say, "I love myself." I just do that for everybody because I believe sometimes you just need to show it. Yeah, but just don't belly button us though. You know what I'm saying? Heads high, heads high, heads high.
I love myself.
I love myself.
I love myself.
I love myself. Don't you feel great? Sorry about that. Not sorry about it.
You know what? I feel great. I feel great about us doing this. The 4 of us. I feel great having the 4 of you in my network along with others. I feel weird that we don't know each other, but I feel connected to you guys. It's kind of strange, right? Like we've never really met, but we share so much openly.
We are connected.
Yeah. It's great. And I think that this next chapter is my greatest chapter. I'm just waiting for it. What are you guys looking at?
We're looking at you, kid. We're looking at you, kid. Don't worry about it. Keep talking.
I think the next chapter will be my greatest chapter. And I am still writing it.
I want to say something directly to you, Bill. First of all, I think you can accept something without allowing it to take you over.
Yeah.
So you embrace it. Embrace it is what I was looking for. In meditation, in order to get past something, often you're embracing the feeling and then you just move it off. So I found that to be useful. And a shaman friend of mine who has had all sorts of, he's a bipolar, hit me with this truth, and this was about 2 years ago, and it just changed my thinking. And again, there's biblical corollaries for Jeremy, but the saying is, life happens for you, not to you. And if you can really embrace that, it changes. It did for me. It changed. I'm like, well, what lessons do I need to be learning now? That is basically what, even with this nonsense with the gentleman, is there a lesson? Is there?
I didn't say
saying there is. Well, I'm using that term. I'm using that term politely and loosely. Or this person, shall we say? You did let it slip where he's from, but anyway.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
I might have said down,
but I'm not going to argue with you.
But I didn't say exactly where.
Yeah, well, where? Well, okay.
Leave me alone.
My point is, I think you can embrace it and then just push it off. And I'm always looking, and including you guys. This is what I'm saying is, I want to be. I know where I was going with this. I want to be in the presence, and in the present, with presence, with intention, because
Mm.
to me, that's what is. And this just the four of us, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not going to worry about anyone else at the moment. I want to bring whatever I'm supposed to be bringing to this moment, and that's what I'm trying to do.
I appreciate that. I appreciate every single one of you for taking the time to come on the show and to help build a better presence. I'm thankful for the ability to be open and honest in such a public way, where we're normally taught to hide behind the facade. I believe in unveiling it. And I appreciate Jeremy for you sharing and for your words of positivity. Michael, for your words of encouragement and the fact that I know that you've been there. Peter, you haven't said shit.
Been working out. That's just his screen stuck. He's like,
Is he stuck?
he's kind of
Oh,
leads
he moved.
a little bit. I'm just kidding.
Oh, so I used the S word too. Still ain't got kicked off or nothing. All right. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that alone. I've given it as much fuel and as much of my energy as I can, and I now release. I want to say I love you, Peter. I love you, Jeremy. I love you, Michael. And thank you so much for being a part of my network. Kenneth Dunner is in LinkedIn jail, and he wants everyone to know that he is watching and that he appreciates you guys, and that don't think that he's not supporting us, because he is. And everyone else out there that's been commenting, remember, or if you don't remember, LinkedIn is having connectivity issues right now. So your LinkedIn comments are not coming over to StreamYard. And LinkedIn yesterday was having intermittent issues with all streaming services. So some got kicked off because of the connectivity issues. And I learned about that this morning when Michael and I first logged on to StreamYard. And I said, hey, this is a problem. Connectivity issues. So Peter, take us home.
Well, you took one of my lines, because Kenny was like, don't you forget to tell everybody that I'm in LinkedIn jail and that I love everybody. But Kenny just goes through that cycle. He get, too much engagement apparently gets you put in LinkedIn jail. The platform that wants us to connect
doesn't want us to connect.
Gives him grief for connecting too much with people. But no, I appreciate having these conversations with all four of you. If it makes you feel a little bit better, Bill, I don't have the best days either. Today's one of those days, I put on a smiley face for my interviews. But afterwards, I'm thinking, I don't get to hear back from them for at least another week, if they ghost me or whatnot. But you have to roll through life, roll through the punches. Keep good, have good people around you that you can lean on. Don't let the negativity bother you. Part of it is being around good people. If you ever feel bad, things that I do, I eat, I sleep, I exercise, I laugh, I sing.
Yeah.
And any of those things help me feel a lot better in life.
These Friday parties always kind of make me feel better.
Yep.
It's just silliness, but it's a distraction from what we're going through. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the last thing was that just don't be afraid to lean on each other for help, because we all need it from time to time.
I just did, and I didn't expect to, but what it lets you know is that no matter who we are, or no matter what phase of life we're in, we do share common experiences. And emotionally, psychologically, it doesn't matter who you are or how old you are. We're all in this together. So with that, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to go to sleep, or at least lay down. Actually, I'm going to do what Michael told me, which I'm going to go walk the dogs and listen to the birds chirping. And then after I'm done with that, then I'm going to come home and lay down. I didn't sleep well last night. Love you guys. I'm taking it out. Hey, you can't hang up until after you hear the outro and listen to the whole thing again and dance. I can see you guys in the background. So don't try to.
Focus in.